Hi everyone, welcome to our Tribe Huddle tonight. It's the 1st of May 2019, wow. We have just gone another crazy end of month and we're starting the new month, and just want to say how excited I am about tonight, because tonight we get to celebrate a beautiful member of our team, Keryn Young, who just aced Franchisee of the Month last month with her incredible hard work and consistency. That's key, really, isn't it? Yes. Big congrats to you, girl. You're amazing. You're
Thank
amazing.
you, please. Can't do it without.
What was that?
I cannot do it without your wall.
True. It does take a, what do they say, a community to grow a leader or something, to grow a what, sorry, Dale? Thank you very much. That's perfect. Hi, Oscar, how are you, lovely? We haven't seen your face for a while. It's nice to see it. Hi. Okay, so what I really want to do tonight is, your Highness.
Oh, Maxine, you're classic.
No, that's actually Pete this time, not Maxine.
I'm going to become a lord then.
So I want to give the screen to you, Keryn, because I think that you can add a lot of value here for a lot of the team. So I've got a few little questions to ask you. So get your notepads out, everyone. Get ready to write down the wisdom, because you do have some, girl. I just want to say that when I first met Keryn, I met Keryn through a friend of mine, a very good friend of mine, who brought her along to my Spiritual Souls group that I used to have on a regular basis at my home every Thursday night. And the first time I met her, I loved her. She had such a beautiful, vibrant energy, but she was just really, like almost, she'd laugh at everything, and, like nothing was a problem, and, but underneath there was all this anxiety going on, but on the surface you wouldn't even clue it in. So she was hiding a lot of stuff, and a lot of emotion and stuff. And so from that moment when I first met her and we connected, and then of course, we had a lot of phone calls there and back, didn't we, Keryn, when, I was kind of helping her in terms of finding a purpose in her life, and then she decided to jump on the team. But in all that time, there was like this process that she was going through in terms of her own development, and there was a lot of fear and anxiety, Keryn? You were feeling really lost, and so I just want to say from then till now, it's been a massive growth. But particularly in the last month, I've noticed a huge change in you. It's been more about you actually starting to be consistent in your action and consistent, and so all that self-development that you've done, you've kind of brought that into making your action consistent. And so that's really why I think that you got it, because you're just so diligent in whatever you do. So I'm just going to ask you some questions. So I just want you to be able to tell us a little bit about your journey, really, since you started JP, and how it is that you have seen yourself grow in that time.
Oh, okay. Right, how I've grown. Okay, it's been one hell of a ride, as far as sometimes the wave feels like a tsunami, but I just made a conscious decision in January of this year that I was just gonna ride the freaking wave, no matter if I was on a high or on a low. So yeah, I tend to be positive anyway. I think that's what's pulled me through a lot of things, and I thought, well, bloody hell, I keep giving myself to everybody else. Why can't I do the same for me? So I have made a conscious effort on the daily to actually put myself first, which is very strange. and really uncomfortable. But as I said in a post the other day, that muscle was getting stronger, and it's actually bloody marvelous, to be honest. I've missed out on a lot, I think, but I can make up for that, being the personality that I have, loud and proud. But I also think, like I said, it's been, since joining Juice Plus, I've been surrounded by you guys who have all had your own journeys, and I am very humbled and very grateful to be walking alongside you guys and picking up the nuggets of gold that you guys just put out every day, you know, be it in person, be it at the events and soirees that we go to, or conferences. I've been to one that was amazing. So it's really just taking what works for me and running with it, basically. There's nothing like having support, and for that I thank you, because that's made all the difference in the world, and it's made me feel like I have a really safe environment where I can be vulnerable, but it also allows, I have people that hold me to staying on the straight and narrow. It's like, all right, well, you've fallen down, now you can get back up, you know. So it's just, that makes a difference. I don't even know if I've answered your question, I'm sorry.
No, you've answered the question beautifully. Just tell everyone how long you've been in the business for, Keryn, because I know that it hasn't been that long, has it? About 5 months?
I think about 5 months. I started with the shred and the products, which were fabulous. But the business side, I'm like, damn it, I want to travel. I want to be my own CEO. And I'm tired of working my ass off doing hours for everybody else, and everybody else is reaping the rewards. So, but honestly, it feels slow. For me, I've had to do so much self-development to get me out of a place of fear, to say there are no woolly mammoths, there are no saber-toothed tigers except in my, and it's taken a while to process all that. And some days it gets sucky when, you know, things come up, things bubble up, depending on who you're interacting with and different occasions and family members that just rack you up beyond belief. But it's all been a process. So I wouldn't have it any other way, because I think it's also leading by example, whether people agree with what I'm doing or not. My light's going to shine, and if it shines in a positive manner and it shows that I'm not going to be a victim, because it hasn't been an easy life, then anything's possible.
Amen. Yes. Amen. So I just want to touch on that, since you talked about it not being easy, you know, that you've had your challenges, and I definitely know that you have had your challenges. So do you want to tell everybody what that looks like for you, what that looked like and how you overcame it?
25 years of counselling, life coaching, and a stubbornness to say I'm not going to let this get to me. You know, life's not been easy, but I've just had an inherent, I guess, skill or ability to just say, right, this has happened. You know, I lost a child, and my response to my girlfriend when she said, you know, I don't know what to say, and I said, it's okay, because the privilege for me was to actually carry a baby for 27 weeks. I got to hold him. He died in my arms, but that was the privilege to me. So that's how I apply things in life. You know, I've had marriages that have fallen apart. And it just is what it is. There's nothing you can do about it if things don't work, but you can take the lessons from it and say, you know, I did the best that I could do. I've learned a lot. I wish that person happiness, and just keep moving forward, because obviously it wasn't meant to be. So I think, throughout it all, I'm just determined. I know that there are better things for me. I know that my heart is in the right place, and I believe in humanity, and I believe in, I have an inherent thing where I find the good in everybody, and sometimes that's a bit of a drawback. But I have learnt how to protect myself, and so I don't get sucked into it as much, or so much of my energy gets used up. So yeah, that's basically it. I'm stubborn. It's dead.
I know, you're amazing, and thank you so much for sharing that, because I know that wasn't easy for you. It doesn't come naturally to be that vulnerable, does it? So thank you for sharing how much you just, because I didn't expect you to share that much, and that's not what I was asking. I was meaning more business. But no, it's really nice that you've shared that, so thank you. That's all part of you learning to be vulnerable, and that's what I meant with, and that's one of the biggest reasons why, you know, you got Franchisee of the Month, because you've grown so much. Like, you know, even a month ago, you would not have opened up and talked about that in the team. So big ups to you, because that's huge. But in terms of challenges that you've had, because I know you've had a few challenges business-wise lately, you know, around communications with people. So, you know, if you want to just share a little bit about that and how you overcame that, because I know you've had a few.
Oh, yeah, sorry, back to business. Yeah, went off on a tangent just then.
No, the tangent was perfect. Thank you.
So business-wise, I'm not quite up to where everybody else is in the customer department and getting teamies and stuff, but I'm working on it, damn it. I will succeed. So I think it's just, that has been fear-based. About, I think, not feeling like I'm knowing what I'm doing. So these last couple of weeks have been great, and thank you again, Tanya, for doing the breakdown on how to get customers and things like that. I tend to be a bit more methodical in my processing and that kind of thing. So I've changed my outlook on that, obviously done more research on what I've gotten into. I think one of the calls that we did with Adam on a Monday night resonated with me, and for some reason it just clicked that, hey, this is a business, I got to turn up to it every day. If I want to see things grow exponentially, I have to visualize and make sure that I'm, you know, walking out the door, walking into the office, or doing whatever that is to get me through. So that's changed. I think it's also following up with people, but in a way that obviously we're being taught with the pain and pleasure things, and not sort of forcing things, not forcing things, but just regurgitating the information. It's definitely coming from a vulnerability place for them, not for me. So it's been a struggle, but hey, I'm getting there.
You're doing great. You're doing fantastic. You're awesome. I mean, it's really good to know that you decided you made a decision and decided, well, I have to actually take this seriously and actually treat it like a business instead of like a hobby. And that's one of the biggest mistakes I think a lot of people make, is they come into it and they go, I'm just going to dip my toe in. I'm just going to try this and see what that's going to be like and see what the water's like. But you can't do that in this business. You have to actually go full out if you want to make it work. So, you know, if you want to dip your toe in and that's all you want, then that's great. But if you want that success, you really have to go full out. So, and I really noticed that change in you. That's definitely, I mean, it was all of it. It's like you've done all the self-development and then you've gone, right, okay, I have to be doing both. I can't just be doing the development without the action, you know?
Oh, sure, for sure. I've adjusted my people. First thing I do in the morning is start off with my posts. Then I time with, you know, time at lunchtime, and then definitely when I get home, be it the product side of things. Obviously, I tend to prefer the feel-good stuff, the inspirational stuff, because I just think we need more of that in the world, personally.
Yeah.
I find that stuff easy. But having said that, you know, I'll put in the hard mahi just to, because I want to sit on my ass on a beach with a laptop going, yeah, sure. How much do you want? Okay, not a problem. And get paid to do it.
I love that. I love it. So tell me, what has been your biggest learning so far on this journey?
On a personal level or business level?
Well, I guess they're both the same, really, aren't they? Wouldn't they kind of, because the thing is that in this business, you've actually got to grow personally or you're not going to grow business-wise anyway. So take that as you wish.
All right, the first thing that's come up is belief in self, because I've never really had it. It's
Right.
believing.
But believing in herself, did someone not hear that?
Okay.
Absolutely, love it. Yeah, and that's taken a lot, hasn't it? A lot of work there on that one.
Well, that's freaking scary. I'm doing 40-something years worth of peeling back onions and living by everybody else's rules and a people pleaser and never putting myself first. So I've always been a second-class citizen and not good enough and not bright enough, and I've chucked all that out the window, just so you know. But yeah, it's belief in self. And not letting anybody, no matter how close they are, because most of it's my family, deter me from what I want to do.
Great. And comparing yourself to others, that's all part of it.
I'm getting better. Sometimes I feel like
I know you are. I know, it's great. It's great because it used to be the first thing that you said and now it's not. So I know you're getting there. That's awesome. So what would you say to anyone in the team at the moment? So, and I know you guys are challenged. We all get challenged at some point. So do I. I had a bad day yesterday. It's normal. But, what would you say, Keryn, to anyone who's feeling stuck? I mean, we don't like to use stuck in this word, but in this team, but I like to call it challenged. And you feel like, you're pushing porridge uphill. What would you say to them?
Well, now you're giving me porridge. I just say grab a spoon and eat your way through it. Get out the way.
I love that.
Just carve your path. Choose the path that you want to go on. Use the spoon. Make sure it's gold or platinum because that's worth more money. Then shovel it out the way. And that includes your thought processes. Say, well, that's great, but I don't like what my brain's telling me, so see ya, goodbye, thanks, but no thanks.
Yeah, I love that. Perfect. So just do it anyway and find a way through it. Basically, don't give up.
If you need to have a pause. But don't sit in it too long. Say, right, okay, I'm going to swear now. It's like shit and get off the pot. Have your poo and then roll.
I can see Maxine laughing too.
Sorry, it was a bit crude, but I'm just
I love you. I love you. You're just gorgeous.
I think you should write a little book of inspirational quotes, Keryn.
Yes.
I think so too. I agree. Yeah.
I was wondering if we could use the spoon you were talking about to stir the cup of concrete.
Hey, you know what? We've got a cup of concrete, so if anyone wants it, we've got one.
Yeah, we've got one too.
We give it to the kids every time they bring out the violins.
Yeah. Take that platinum spoon, just dig a path.
Yeah.
Let the porridge drain into it and just step on over it in your Louis Vuittons and keep trucking up the hill. Yeah,
the sand will ruin your laptop, Keryn. I just want to say too, if anyone's got any questions you want to ask Keryn, just pop it in the chat or unmute yourself. Maybe it might be easier in the chat because sometimes there's a bit of a delay. But I just wanted to ask you one more question because I know that you talked a lot about self-development and I know that you've done a lot of self-development in terms of the business. What have you done and what would you say is worth doing?
All of it. Okay. I turned out all the people that we are blessed to have as leaders, as friends. I truly believe that everybody has something of value to add in. I read all your posts. I take those nuggets of information. Maxine, I'm freaking jealous of where you get those gratitude posts from. I'm like, where the heck did you get them from? So I'm looking at them, but it's just find somebody that works for you. I've known about Brene Brown for a very long time. My counsellor recommended her years ago, so I know about her. Tanya, The Big Leap, the phenomenal team that we've got in Aussie. Adam's, always cracking the whip, and his personality is bigger than the solar system. Kira's got nuggets of freaking platinum and diamonds and all that good stuff that work. It's really just taking what works for you, and it changes on a daily basis on any given moment. So just be open to what the universe throws your way, because that's really all I've been trying to practice more, is to center and quiet myself, and then reread the notes, because it gives you a different vibration level, a different energy, and the more I do that, I have found the less I'm getting in my own way, on the negative level in my head.
Right, and I know that you've worked with Lindsay a little bit too, and she's really helped you too as well, hasn't she?
Oh yeah, she's my woolly mammoth saber-toothed tiger lady. I love that. I'm a very big visualization person. So, and I'm also all about trying out different things, and coaching definitely works for me. It holds me accountable, and it just keeps me rolling in forward momentum, even when you do have rough days.
Yeah, that's great. Well, and I just want to add to that too. So just so everybody knows that, all of the training that we get is free, and a lot of, I know that something that Keryn has told me, from having coaching for years and years, is I'm just going to cancel that spotlight there. For years that, counsellors or coaches are actually, they cost a fortune. And we are really blessed to have some incredible leaders, but also to have some coaches in our business for free. So any opportunity that you get to be coached by anybody in this business, or get training from any of the training in this business, take it up. Lindsay is free, and she offers it free. Basically all of the franchise department and HO also offer free coaching. They will help you in terms of your business and what you need, the plan that you need to get to your promotions. Whereas Lindsay is more of that real self-belief stuff, like what Keryn talked about before, really getting into that, that's going on for you, what do you need to change, and set yourself up there. So if whatever you can tap into, grab hold of it and run with it, because it really is worth every moment of your time, especially when it's free. So I just want to say, Keryn, a big thank you for sharing tonight, honey. I'm so proud of you. I really am. I know that's cliche, but actually I really am, because I can see how much you've grown. And just the fact that you got on here tonight and you've spoken like you have, you would not have done that even a month ago. You would have been freaking out. I didn't get any messages from you going, oh my God, what do I have to say? What do I say? No, I got none of that. I didn't even hear from you. So I'm like, you really have. You've really grown, and I'm so proud of who you are, and that you can be vulnerable and share like this. So it's only from here up, girl. So there's only up now for you. True.
It's the plan.
Yeah. I know it's the plan. It's great. You keep holding that plan. So now we talk about the plan for success. I had some really, really cool stuff that I heard today from one of our gurus, Simon Chan. And I thought, I want to share this with you guys, because it's really, really important for us to remember as we are going forward with our businesses. something that a lot of our leaders, and you'll find, you know, like our leaders that have been in the business for a really long time, like Linda and Adam and Katrina and, you know, Kira, and it's what they do is they look at the destination. They don't look at the destination, but they look at the doorway. So they're looking at the opportunity that they have in front of them. So this is in terms of networking. So it's really important to grow. Obviously, we're a networking business, and it's really important to grow your network and to be growing your network on a daily basis. And I've actually been guilty of this myself, and because I know that what I tend to do is I tend to stick with, you know, adding new friends from people who live in the countries that Juice Plus is in. Unless I have a connection with someone else who's outside of that, then I tend to generally, you know, not add them. And, you know, it was a real eye-opener for me today when I heard what Simon was saying, because I realised that there's actually a lot more gold in those other people than what we think. Because what happens is, and what you'll find is, you know, obviously we're not going to, so all the people on our friend list, we are not going to have every single person on our friend list as a customer or as a teammate. You know, we know that. It's just not going to happen. You know, we might have a small percentage of them at some stage as customers, and probably even a smaller percentage as our team. But what happens is it's not necessarily the people that you meet, but it's the person that you meet will lead you on to someone else that may become your customer or may become your team or someone else. So it's like the connection and the connection and the connection. So it's not necessarily about you meeting someone and going, oh, I'm going to get them as a customer, or I'm going to get them on my team. It's not about that at all. It's about connecting, like meeting that person, connecting with them, finding out, you know, getting some interest, getting curious about who they are and what they're doing. And then, because what happens is then you've got an open door to their network. And I tell you what, this has happened for me quite a few times. Like, you know, I've got team from people whom I've met through someone else, or I've got customers. In fact, a lot of my customers are from people who I've met through someone else, or someone else has referred me. I mean, this even happens in our lifetime. So, you know, for example, I met Pete through someone else. So, you know, I didn't know him, but I met him through a friend of mine. So she kind of connected us. You know, and then there's other things like Sin, for example. So I only met Sin because I knew her mum. I used to support her mum, but I only met her mum because of my job. So it's like, and now Sin's one of my team. And I mean, it's even the same with, I think about Maxine, for example. I mean, we've been friends for a long time, but we've been friends because of our children. So I wouldn't have met Maxine if it wasn't for my kids, because my kids were friends with her kids, and that's how we became friends. And now she's on my team. So it's all about networking and really being open to allowing, you know, any kind of connection that you can make, and seeing it as a long-term thing. So, you know, I know a lot of the leaders talk about how, you know, we are networking, we are making new friends, we are growing friendships, right? We're growing relationships, and we're finding out about those people. And a lot of the time, you know, we meet people, and I've been guilty of this, and we go, oh, how many people can I find? How many customers can I find? How many potential team can I find if I go out somewhere tonight? But it's about changing that way and going, well, how many new friends can I make? Mm. And as you make a new friend, you know, that friend may not become a customer or a team member, but that friend might have a friend who's interested in the product, or who's interested in the program. And so they will, oh, you know, I've got this friend, or I know I've just met someone who does this, you know, and tells them about you, and then you can end up connecting with them. And even on a long-term thing, I mean, I find the same thing with, for example, in my spiritual souls group. So, you know, I initially, when I first started that Souls group, I put in all my friends whom I knew were spiritual and whom I knew would gain some value from it. But what's happened from then is they add their friends, and then their friends add their friends, and then their friends add their friends, and then suddenly I get all these new friends because they all want to be friends with me because they're asking me all these questions. So I've got all these new friends from my original friends. So it works in any way, it works in any part of your life. You know, it's like that, what do they say about we're all six degrees of separation or something. You know, we're all that close to each other, even though we seem like we're far away and we don't know each other. We're actually really close because we're all connected somehow. So yeah, go for it.
So I'm just trying to think. So say I friend someone out of my Greyhound group and we get chatting and become fairly friendly. How am I then connecting with people that they know?
Because you're making a friend. So you are becoming interested in this person, you're having conversations with them, and you're just talking about yourself and asking them about themselves. So you're becoming more interested in them. And so so you're growing a friendship, and so they're getting to know you, then they start seeing your posts, and then they might have a conversation with a friend, and they might say, oh, I'm trying to lose weight, or I'm really sick, and they can go, oh, I know someone who might be able to help you.
Oh, okay, so you're talking really about getting referrals from those friends.
Possibly, but not necessarily. It's not just about that. It's also about that when you have a friend on Facebook, their friends will see your stuff as well. And so you'll end up with, you know, so then you'll end up with, you know, that's how you get followers. So that's how you get followers on your page.
How do they see your posts?
How do they see my posts? Well, sometimes what Facebook will do.
A friend of a friend that isn't friends with you, how would that work? Do they see that post if your friend comments on it? Is that how it works? Yes. Right. Yes. Okay.
You've probably seen that come up sometime with your friends. You'll go, so-and-so commented on this, and it might be someone else, it might be their friend whom you don't know, but it's their post, and it will come up in your newsfeed. I've seen that quite a bit. So, but I don't mean necessarily in terms of just on social media, but I'm also talking about in general life. You know, obviously it's more obvious with social media because we are all connected more. Social media works like that. It's almost like that, you know, they're watching over you and they know everything that's going on. But it happens in every part of your life. You know, we're always, like, for example, if we get invited to a party or something, we'll meet people there. And then we might find out, oh, that person knows someone that you know. Or we might start a conversation with them and then find out that they've got a friend who's not very well, or you know, and so you end up making friends with that person, and then you can end, and it's like a chain that just continues. Something else too that that Simon talked about, which I thought was really interesting, when I said before about how I don't tend to add friends from other countries that are outside Juice Plus unless I have a connection with them, because I have quite a few outside of the country that I have a connection with, that I'm friends with. But one of the things he said is you just never know at what stage your company will be in that country. And so that's another long-term thing. So thinking about this long-term rather than in the short term. So we're building connections now that we have no idea how those connections will help us further down the track. You know, so we have no idea that how it could end up in Asia or in Africa at some stage. And if we already have relationships with people in those countries, when it goes there, we've already started a network there, which, you know, we can continue that network on. Especially if we want to grow team over there. So just being open to really forming new relationships rather than focusing on what we're going to get out of it in the short term. It's really about growing yourself long term and thinking long term, because that's what leaders do. They're in it for the long game. The other thing, so in terms of that, obviously the way that we grow our team, the way that we grow our customer base is by growing our friend list. And by growing our friend list, it means that we really need to be adding new friends on a regular basis. And I mean, I do it daily. Another really good way of doing that is by making sure that your profile is public, so that your friends, so they can see, people can see your posts, and then you start getting friend requests. So people will start sending you friend requests. So, what I did when I first started was I went through all Pete's friends, I went through all my kids' friends, all my family's friends, all my friends' friends, and I added everyone that I knew. Even if I'd only met them for a day, I added them and I sent them a message and I said, hey, it's been ages. It's great to see you on here and see your face pop up in my suggested friends. A bit of a white lie, but, and it's a really good way of connecting with people. And now I do it through groups, I do it through other means. I make friends when I go out. If I meet someone, like today, I met someone for the first time, and that's my mission tonight, is I'm going to find her on Facebook and send her a message. So, it's little things like that. It's finding opportunities to be able to connect with people, and it's not thinking, oh, I could get myself a customer from this. It's thinking, actually, I've just made a new connection today, and I'd like to continue that connection. So how can I continue that connection? And, obviously reaching out and talking to people really helps, keeping those connections going so that you have some kind of relationship with them, and just doing it because you want to and you're interested, not because you're want a customer or want a new team member. Yeah, so anyone got any questions on that? It was a light bulb moment for me, because I was like, oh, yeah, okay. In terms of that, we don't actually know what's going to happen 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the track with this company. And I don't know about you, but I plan to be in this forever. So, we don't know what country it's going to end up going into, because I know the focus for JP this year was around gelling the VO systems together so that New Zealand and Australia and the rest of the world were on par. So we were all the same, and that was all part of that going live. And just fine-tuning the compensation plans so that they're all, because New Zealand and Australia have the best compensation plans in the world. We are the luckiest countries in the world. We get more money and more bonuses, and it's easier for us than it is for anyone else in the world. Just putting it out there in case you get any team over there. And so what they want to do is they want to make the rest of the world pretty much on par with New Zealand and Australia's compensation plan. So that was their 2 big things they were focusing on. They weren't going into any new countries this year, but who knows what the next few years is going to bring. So watch the space. And so it's for us to be thinking forward around what can we do now to build that long-term vision. Okay, any questions? No. Processing. Great.
Hey, Tanya, you know how you bought that Simon Chan thing where you get personalised coaching? Have you been using that?
Yeah, I get his lives every day. He does a lesson of the day every day, and I often use this in Huddle. I get, like today, I got the live today, and I thought, oh, I love this. I want to share it. It's great. There's some really good stuff that he shares, so it's definitely worth it for lifetime access.
Because you can get him to help you with verbiage too, can't you?
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah. I don't use his verbiage so much. I really believe in his posture. That it's important for us. So posture is a huge thing for me in terms of when you are offering something to someone, particularly the business, you want to remember that they want this more than you want them. So they need you more than you need them. And so it's having that real professional kind of posture going, well, I'm here to help you and I'm happy to help you get what it is that you want. But if you want it, you need to come to me. You need to, and I had a perfect example of that the other day when I had someone, it was a cold market, and she replied to one of my business ads, and I sent my first message out and said, thank you for for contacting me regarding the online positions. I'd love to send you more information. Really like to know, what it is that interests you, and then I'm happy to connect further with you. Looking forward to that. Kind of left it at that, and she came back to me with saying, I thought this was a people in brackets job, maybe not for me, thanks anyway. And I said, of course it's a people job, it's just online, it's basically, I said it's coaching online, health wellness coaching or something, I can't remember, it was very brief and to the point. And I said, thank you very much. Thank you for your reply. All the best for your job search. And thought, right, I'm just going to let that one go. That's all good. And then she comes back to me and says, okay, well, I'd like more information, please. So that's the posture. That's when you can say, well, okay, this is actually what it is. Thank you very much for your reply. I hope you, get on, I wish you well in whatever it is that you're doing. And so it's almost like, yes, you can have it, but no, you can't. So if you really want it, you need to come back to me. And she did. She came back to me. So when we don't want to appear too needy, because if we appear too needy, people don't want you. People don't want it. They're like, nah, she obviously really wants me on her team. And, that's when it becomes very network marketing speak and very kind of in your face and very, I don't know, loud and what's the word? Almost sugar-coated and not authentic. So there's a certain level of professionalism that you have, and I guess that's what I call it. When I think of posture, I think of being professional. And then, of course, once you get to, and I'm sure that Katrina touched on this on her training the other day around her verbiage, when she talked about how, you want to have that professional speak the whole time when it's cold markets, but then you will also want to, like if they start sharing something, so what I do is when they share something more about themselves, especially when they're very vulnerable, I'll go, well, that's really lovely that you shared so much of yourself. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's really nice to hear that you are, you'd love to work from home because you're a mum or something, or you love to be at home with your kids or something like that. Just so they know that, yes, I am still a person, and I actually really appreciate that they have opened up to me. And so that's the start of kind of forming a relationship with someone that you actually haven't ever met. So it's a bit of a long-winded answer to your question. Sorry, Maxine.
No, it's good. I was also thinking from my experience, that posture thing is really important. But the other thing is, if you have to chase somebody before you've even signed them up, then you're sure as hell going to have to chase them afterwards.
Yeah.
They're not even coming to the party before you sign up. They're not going to work.
No.
So there's no point.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And I guess, Sonia, something that I've learned a lot from my, nearly 2 years in the business is that it's about it's really about who do you want and not being desperate for finding just anybody.
Yep.
It's about really aligning yourself with your own values and going, well, I want someone like this. And if I have someone who can't even be bothered replying to my messages, then do I really want them on my team? Because they're going to be hard work. Like Maxine said, they're going to be hard work. So, I appreciate it when people open up and they're vulnerable. I love that about people because that's the kind of person I am. So if someone's going to do that, I'm going to say thank you very much and reflect that back to them. And usually those are the kind of people that I want on my team. So yeah,
I think the next person that applies to my position that has mouse ears in their profile, I'm just going to write back and say, sorry, the position's spelled. 2H. Oh my God. It's like I get the same conversations with those mouse ear girls every single time.
About mouse ears?
Oh, you know.
Snapchat filters. You know the Snapchat filters, Molly?
Young girls that put the silly mouse face on them, you know. It's you can just predict how it's going to go, eh?
Yeah, it's funny. Yeah. Oh. So, any more questions, guys? No. Any challenges or anything that you want to share before we go?
My challenge is putting up.
Putting a what? Sorry, Molly?
Testimonial up.
A testimonial. Oh, are you going to do that?
Well, I've been rewriting it, and I'm kind of challenged to put it actually on the website.
Okay. Why? What's challenging you?
Because I'm outing myself in the public. With Parkinson's.
Being vulnerable.
Yes, being vulnerable.
Oh yeah, Keryn can tell you all about that.
Yeah, no.
Is it about Monica? Is it about actually saying I've got Parkinson's? That you're also, is that part of it?
Yeah, because I haven't talked about it like with the name for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that. And I guess all I can say about that, Moni, is just when you just have to be ready. And if you're not ready, it's okay.
Okay. Cool. I think I should challenge myself to do it though. Yeah.
I mean, I'm someone who challenges myself all the time. So, if that was me, I would just do it. But I'm not you. And so you've really got to ask yourself, do I want to challenge myself right now? Will this actually help me grow? So is this going to help me, A, personally to grow, and B, in my business to grow?
Yeah.
So if you can answer yes to both of those things, then I would say do it.
Yeah.
I think the thing though that I've been hearing from you, Monica, for all these years is that it's the whole thing of defining yourself, as somebody who has Parkinson's, and all that stuff that other people hang on it,
Yeah.
That's the problem, isn't it? When you say that's I can totally understand that would be, then you're going to get everybody else's stuff really that they think about it.
Well, I've been thinking about white lighting it and sending it off into the ether and just trusting that it's going to be okay.
That's great, Moni. That's great.
Okay.
Yeah, definitely do that. That's a great idea. Because that means you're getting support around it as well.
Also, it's just language too, isn't it? Like, we just have words for things because, it's more efficient than, doing it some other way. It doesn't mean, it's just a shortcut really, isn't it? Language-wise. It doesn't mean that's who you are,
That's right. It doesn't define who you are at all. You are not your illness at all.
No. Okay, thanks, guys. I need that little talk about it.
Welcome. You're welcome. Okay, so I might close this up then and wish you all a good night. And
thank you, Keryn.
Yeah, thank you, Keryn.
No, like I said, it takes a village, and you guys have definitely helped me on my journey and my path. So thank you for being vulnerable and sharing what you share, because that makes it safer for me. So, Moni, the flip side to you sharing your story is that you will help others who potentially may have the same concerns that you do. I think it's a positive, to be honest. We're not defined by words. The words don't have any meaning until somebody puts them there. So I'm proud of the journey that you've done. I'm exceptionally psyched that you're contemplating it. And like I said, the positive spin is that your story will help somebody else.
Okay, thanks for that.
Amen. It's true.
Should we give a hallelujah?
I've been trying to convince my daughter of the same thing, but she won't listen. She's 17. But
Youngin.
You've had life experience, Moni, so you understand that.
Yeah.
And that's why you came into this business, didn't you, to help others in a similar situation to you?
Yeah, pretty much.
Also, the other thing that we talked about a while ago was the whole, like, you know, having a word that you don't speak, you know, you become like, you know, he who shall not be named. It gives it a lot more power in a way too, doesn't it? If there's, you know, if you're just out about it, that kind of creates some breathing around it, you know, and you can.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a good way of looking at it, Maxine.
Either way, know that you're loved, Moni, and we got your back, and we have a circle for you. And on those awful days, just know that there's a whole lot of awesome vibes and energy that are here for you.
Yeah.
No matter what.
Very true. Very true.
Keryn's got her license for shooting down neg ferrets now too.
I know. I was hoping you were going to share that actually, Keryn. Your neg ferret.
The neg ferret gun
that you
license.
seem to have at the moment.
I'm not allowing that person to take up any more of my time.
I love that. I love that.
You know, I'm just going to share something that I think is relevant because I've been listening on my audio books to The Build an Empire. Have you read that one? Yeah.
Oh no, I haven't. Now, who's that? Please tell me. Give me the date.
That's Elena Cardone. Elena Cardone. It's called Build an Empire.
Is it ELENA?
Yeah, that's right.
ELENA. And what's her last name?
Cardone. Cardone.
Yep, Building an Empire.
Oh, and it's really interesting. It's really wonderful. And yeah, so she's really talking about, you know, how the Queen creates her empire. It's not just about money. It is also about money, but it's about everything, really. About what the Queen needs to do to be powerful in creating her empire. But that was one of the quotes I put up the other day, Keryn, which I thought was really good. As she said, everyone says, you know, people will attack your weak points. She said they don't. They attack your strengths.
Yeah, that was amazing, that.
Yeah. So she said, if you think about that.
It's true.
If someone's attacking your strengths, it's true. Well, doesn't that put a totally different spin on how you're going to react? You're almost going to be flattered, actually, aren't you?
Actually, I can totally relate to that because my sisters used to always, especially my sister that I have the most issue with, always went on about my emotional side, my sensitivity and stuff, and I think that's a strength.
Absolutely. That's a perfect example.
No, I love that. Like I said, I'm a bit jelly of your quotes that you send out, Maxine.
Well, some of them I do actually get from listening to these audio books. Like that one, I got straight out of her because when she said it, I went, "Wow, that's massive," you know. And it's true, you know. My sister has always attacked me for being, you know, the pampered little princess that, you know, because I've got a supportive partner and whatever, you know, fill in the blank.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, well, that's actually my strength. I've actually set up a really strong, exactly what she's talking about in this book. I've set up a strong, supportive network in my life.
Absolutely.
Take care of me, you know. Yeah, if you really take that one on board, I think that's massive, you know.
That's great.
Make it very different how you feel when you get attacked by someone.
I think you posted that probably, I think, the day or just the day after, and I did see it, and I took it on board, and I'm like, my poor old sister and the kids had to suffer when I was like completely deflated. Poor thing thought she'd done something wrong, and the kids she even said sucked the life out of me, but it was really Bertrand and what he said, and it took me a minute, but that's what I said, all this self-development and learning and for me to get out of my head, but that resonated with me. It's like, you're hating on the fact that I'm actually doing something positive, and it's ticking you off, and it's flicking a switch in himself.
Yeah,
So all right,
yeah, it's always about them, it's not about you. Always about them, every time.
yeah. I'm like,
It's not worth, it's not worth going there. I mean, you know that, don't you, Maxine? You've had your own examples of that one.
Yeah, well, you know, a lot of it's jealousy, to be honest. It really is. You know, that's been it for me. You know, you're not. It makes them uncomfortable that you might be doing well. It just shines a flashlight on where they're at. You know, it doesn't need to. You know, it doesn't have to, but that's what they're doing with it. You know, that's how they're using it.
He's using it that way, and for him, I'm like looking at. I'm like, why are you doing this? You've got everything that you want, and you're happy with your life. Don't be an arsehole. You know, he's done everything he's ever wanted. The universe has been extremely blessed, both him and Olga. But I just haven't responded. I'm like, I'm done. We're good. Moving on. And taking.
I think you should try and read that book, Keryn. I think you'll get a lot out of it, because she talks a lot about that.
I think in terms of responding, Keryn, I think it's good that you don't want to respond to him in terms of, and I don't think you should justify it or, you know, debate it or anything. But I think just send a message and say, hey, thanks so much for your time. It's great that you've taken such an interest in looking for this format. But I'm really happy with what I'm doing, and I love what I'm doing. I hope, you know, that you are happy as well. Something like that. So it's almost like, yeah, thanks so much, but I'm actually really strong in what I'm doing, and I appreciate your thought, but I'm over here. You can stay over there.
Well, is he trying to shoot things down with science or, you know, bad articles or?
Oh, he sent me the whole gamut. He sent me the Google thing. He sent me some other company that some other whatever. I woke up to that, and in the previous text message, whatever, he said, I don't really care. Well, obviously he does care, because he's gone on to, you know.
I don't really care, but I spent 24 hours collecting all of this research.
Exactly.
I don't care.
I don't care, but by the way, this is the blah, 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 blah. I'm like, oh, for the love of Mike. Poor old Tanya had to deal with me. I was so irate.
I had exactly the same thing, Keryn. One of my first neg ferrets, I woke up to an email with about a dozen links to all, and they'd been on Google, they'd found every single little piece of shit about Juice Plus. It's all garbage. I've read all of it already. It's all just people like that spouting their ignorant opinions about this. There was no facts or anything in it, because I'd already done all of that myself. But yes, I had the same thing. And it was like, wow, I wish you people would put the same amount of energy into doing something positive in the world. The world would be amazing if you did that.
Oh, and that's just it. It's like, stop raining on my parade, for Pete's sake. I thought about it after the fact. It's like, I'm happy. I'm in an, you don't know, I'm in an amazing team. I've got all the support in the world. Quite frankly, I don't give a rat's ass what you think about anything else, because the proof to me is in the pudding of every single person that's got a testimonial and put it out there, and their health is exponentially changed.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so you
kind of wonder what their motivation is. That's what I wondered when it happened to me. Like, you know.
they're not on the same wavelength as you. They're not on the same vibration. They're completely, you know, you are in a completely different place, and they will never understand you. And like, you know, we will never understand them. So that's why I say, Keryn, just come back to being your beautiful self, grateful self, and say thank you very much for the time and effort you've done to put this together for me. But I'm really happy with what I'm doing, and I wish you the same.
Yeah.
You know, I'm really happy helping change people's lives, helping people get well, whatever it is you want to say, and just leave it at that. No debate, no justification.
Yeah.
So you're still seeing your beautiful, grateful self. You can't argue with that. You can't argue with that.
What? I just don't care. I don't care.
I know you don't, but if you don't come back with something, he's going to think that, oh yeah, she, you know, you just got to say thanks and kind of close it. Do you know what I mean? You've got to kind of close it instead of leaving it up in the air. Yeah.
And then I just work on it, grow my empire.
Yeah.
3 years down the track, go, how do you like me now?
Yeah. That's like that. That's right. The best revenge is success. It's like, and you're being professional too. By coming back, you're being professional by saying what you're saying. It's like, you know, when Pete and I got married and we had our DJ, and he said he was going to do all these things. Anyway, the DJ was shit. And we paid quite a lot of money for it. And he asked for a feedback at the end. And so we gave him feedback, and we were honest. We weren't nasty, we were honest. We said, look, you know, this is what was great, and this is what was shit. And I'm really sorry, but we won't be recommending you to anyone else. Well, we heard diddly squat back from him, and we thought, how unprofessional is that? You'd think he'd at least, you know, reply and say, thanks so much for your feedback. I'm really sorry that that's happened. But no, nothing. So, you know, it's the same thing. You come back to him and just, you know, give him that, thanks very much, but I'm really happy what I'm doing. It's professional.
Have you had any negativity, Keryn? My Keryn? Have you had any negativity at all?
I had one girl who I thought would be really interested, because she's a friend of mine who's a vegan. She's the one I messaged you who hunted in the internet to find out a non-vegan part of Juice Plus.
Oh, that's right. And
I came back to her and she came back to me saying, oh, I must have looked up something that was old when they did have animal products when they did have gelatin in the chewy capsule.
They've never had gelatin in them, ever.
No. And I said to her, oh, that's not information that I know anything about. It's, you know, I just said, you know, that's fine. You know, I love the product. I would never be associated with a company that wasn't vegan. That's why I'm here. And, you know, thanks for your time.
Good on you, Keryn. Good on you. Perfect answer.
You're missing out. These are great vegan products. You're missing out.
Yeah.
That's a good answer. That's great.
Yeah, it's always really good to come back to your own experience, isn't it? Because and they say this a lot on trainings, you know, you can debate this, whatever, people can argue about science, whatever, but they can't argue with your story, they can't argue with your experience. They can't. There's nowhere to go with that.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So that is a great way to handle it.
Yeah.
So I'm glad you've only had one, and looks like you brushed that off pretty well anyway.
Well, I might close this now since it's way over 9. We've been going for over an hour, so thanks all everybody. It's been great tonight. Thanks so much, Keryn. for your
You're
share.
welcome. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it.
Just call me Monica if you want any, any like cheerleading before you put your post up or whatever.
Yeah,
Okay.
go, Moni. We'll look forward to seeing it on the testimonial group. You can do it. Yeah.
We'll go and vomit good vibes all over it after you've done it.
We will. Oh,
Okay.
Keryn, remember your post today, honey, in the customer group.
Oh, shoot. Late. I'm a bit late, sorry.
It's all good, darling. It's all good, darling. You've had other things going on, like, sharing in here. Well,
Okay.
have a great evening, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.